some more in a tag match with Damage Control versus Judgment Day, Liv and Raquel. And that match ended pretty quickly, which I was like, okay, that didn't need to happen. But Rhea comes out immediately afterwards and starts getting in their face. Of course, Liv runs away. I hate what they're doing with this. I still hate what they're doing. I hate how they ended Survivor Series. As I told you, I did not like that they decided Rhea was going to win by pinning the champion. I absolutely hated that. And I don't love particularly what they're doing right now between Liv and Rhea. I don't love it. Next week, we're going to see Rhea versus Raquel. So they're going forward with that, which we thought was going to be the direction based like immediately when Raquel came around. We thought that was what they were going to do. So it just, yeah, it took a while, but they're getting there. Yeah,
What do you think?
I think they're, it's hard for me because, I think to say that, like, part of me really feels that they're doing a disservice to Liv because I think there are so many people out there who already don't take her seriously as the champion. And so when she's running away from Rhea, when she's getting help in every match, which I don't hate because I love heels and that's part of that's the part of being the bad guy,
Yeah, I'm glad
right?
you acknowledged it. Good, yeah.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, you do need to pick up some solid wins here and there. You know what I mean? Like, at least when Roman started to do that and needed the bloodline, he had already been champion for like 2.5 years. You know what I mean? Before it started to be like every match was helped from the others in the bloodline. And I complained about that, but like at least at that point, it had been long enough that it was like, all right, whatever. Liv isn't at that point. You know, people already question her being the champion on Raw as it is. So her getting help every single time is not a great look. I also don't love the idea of her being the one that gets pinned in any match. You know, it's like when we were seeing Imperium matches when Gunther was Intercontinental Champion, he was
Death,
never pinned.
taxes,
Yes.
Vinci
So
takes the pin.
yes, exactly. So I think that that wasn't necessary. It's the same thing that we even just said about the Saudi show. There's a reason Gunther lost to Cody Rhodes. It's because they do not want Cody to be pinned. And so it's a shame in my eyes that they're not treating Liv that way. And on the flip side, of course, it's like, okay, am I a hypocrite? Because she's still the women's world champion. She's still in a storyline with Rhea Ripley, who is a star in her own right, obviously. She was the #1 merch seller for the women in 2024. So it's like clearly she's still thriving. So do I have room to complain? You know, that's something that I kind of struggle with, but I'm sticking by my convictions. Honestly, I did not like the way that Survivor Series ended. I don't like that they continue to have her run away from Liv. I think they're kind of stalling what could have been a really good storyline to the point of people are like completely checked out.
People are checked out. I have realized that. I don't like. I'm intrigued, but for Liv, I'm not intrigued for Rhea. Like, she's just Rhea Ripley. Like, what she does is what's going to happen. But with Liv, I want to see her face someone else
Mm-hmm.
that, to see, how I want to see different ways that Liv Morgan can retain the title.
Mm-hmm.
When you say legitimate champion, she's not there yet. In her career, if she's at the stage where she's playing this heel role, the girl that
She's doing
everyone wants
great.
to, like, it's fantastic.
That's the thing I
And
think people are overlooking.
yeah, and that's the curse of it, though, Sarah,
I
is
know.
because it's so good.
Can
Doing
I
stuff like that enhances it.
can I ask, okay, and we can ask the chat as well because I see you guys kind of arguing about Liv. Um I guess in my eyes, I don't really understand the she's not a legitimate champion thing. What would make her legitimate?
Yeah.
Why do people think she's not a serious champion or a legitimate champion? Why is Richard saying she's a weak champion? Like why? Why and what
I
can she
don't know.
do to be taken seriously. Because I feel part of it is not just because she's losing matches or she's running away from Rhea, so people have a hard time taking her seriously. I think it's also because of her size. I think people kind of don't take her seriously because it would be the same. What do you think people would think if they made Zelina Vega women's world
Oh, there
champion?
you go. The
The
same.
number one thing people would say is because her size. They can't take her seriously. Like, she would never win against Rhea. I feel like it's kind of a subconscious thing that people don't take Liv seriously because of that. Because she's improved in so many other aspects of wrestling that
Yeah, but
it's
did
like,
you
what
say that
else
about?
does she need to do?
Did you say that about Rey Mysterio? The same people that are saying this about Liv, like Rey Mysterio was world heavyweight champion. That man is the cruiserweight of all the most cruiserweight of all cruiserweights.
Mm-hmm.
And that man was world heavyweight champion, and everyone loved when Rey Mysterio was champion. I'm not comparing the two, but you get the
Right.
point.
Yes.
You understand the point I'm trying to make. And
Yeah.
what Liv is doing as champion, it's a legitimate reign because you're interested in it. The matches are good. It's the storytelling is fantastic. That's what makes a good world champion sometimes over the actual in-ring ability. If all that mattered was in-ring ability, then goddamn Lance Storm would be the greatest world champion of all time. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
like, what do you want? Like,
Well, I think
it's
it's fair, obviously, to criticize things about any wrestler. I mean, you mentioned Rey Mysterio. We've talked a number of times about him being one of the best in-ring performers, but very forgettable on the mic. He was never known for cutting a
never,
good promo.
never.
Um, but that's okay because of how good he was in the ring, and then obviously the longevity
He
of his
did a
career.
job. He
Yeah.
played a
But
role.
with Liv, yes, is she one of the best in the ring? No, but is she near the bottom? No. Absolutely not. And she's come such a long way with
Mhm.
getting better in the ring, getting better in the mic. Like, if we really compare this title reign to when she won Money in the Bank and cashed in on Ronda Rousey, can you not see the progression? You
Oh
know?
my god, night and day.
So that's why I
Winter to
feel like
summer.
it's confusing to me. Like, you don't have to like her, you don't have to cheer for her, but I guess I just get confused about this whole, like, she's not legitimate. That's the
No,
thing that I don't understand.
same, yeah.
Final Boss says Liv should not be scared of Rhea. She was not scared of her going into Mania and took her out. Now that she's a heel, all of a sudden she's scared. This is the thing too, right? So another reason I had an issue with the way that Survivor Series, the women's War Games match ended, was because Rhea has now beaten Liv in like multi-person matches, because her and Damien beat Liv and Dom at Bad Blood, right? It was Bad Blood.
Yes.
In that tag match. She then beats her again at War Games. But when they do a one-on-one match, Liv wins. That's
Yes.
probably one reason that people are questioning the legitimacy of Liv, because why is she losing, but then when it counts and when it matters most, she's winning. So it's like that's why I think that the decisions that they're making are doing more harm than good for Liv. It feels to me like they're favoring Rhea. These storylines benefit Rhea, but they're hurting Liv. And I feel like there's a way to go about it that benefits both of them and doesn't harm either of them. And it's also
Mhm.
like Rhea taking a loss doesn't hurt her at all, because she's at that point in her career where her getting pinned or her losing a match and no one cares. They're going to forget about it in 5 minutes when they move on to the next segment, but when it's Liv, everybody remembers. They're talking about losses
Everybody
from her
knows.
from 6 months ago still, so that's the thing that I take issue with. I feel like they could do better by her.